everyone. Thank you for joining me again. Today is day 7 for JavaScript Basics, and this is part 3. I'll be doing also a part 4 later on today. And so I just want to thank you again for joining me, and let's get started where we left off. So now we are, well, let me start my Pomodoro as well. I haven't done that. It's going to be 15 minutes. So we are on lesson where it talks about, says stand in line. So it says in computer science, a queue is an abstract data structure where items are kept in order. New items can be added at the back of the queue, and old items are taken off the front of the queue. Write a function next in line which takes an array and a number as arguments. Add the number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array. The next in line function should then return the element that was removed. Okay, so here we go. So it says write a function next in line which takes an array and a number item as an argument. So right here, array and item. So my code in here says add the number to the end of the array and then remove the first element of the array. Alright. So here we go. Excuse me. We have what we need to do is add the number to the end of the array. So we have array dot push adds number, or push adds an item to the end of the array. So we can use dot push, and we want to push item so we want to push item at the end of the array, and then we want to just array dot pop, and I don't think it's pop, I think it's unshift. So what I'm going to do is just look up an array method really quick. If we go to mdn pop, so pop removes the last element of the array, so that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, I think it's unshift. Nope. It could be shift. Yep, it's shift. So shift method removes the first element of an array. So we want to do array dot shift and so let's just make sure it's doing what we want it to do. So we want to write a function. It's called next in line, which takes an array right here and a number item as an arguments. So they're both arguments. Add the number, so add this item to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array, and then we dot shift. The next inline function should then return the element that was removed. So we want it to return array.shift because that was the element that was removed. So let me just, can't have two return statements. This one is incorrect. So if I hit Command Enter, let's see if that's correct. Yes, that's correct. So let's make sure we understand what's going on. So we have an array, or sorry, we have a function. It's called next in line. We know that this function will pass an array, and it'll pass an item. The item is going to be a number. So right here we have when that array is passed in, right here, you have access to this push method on any array, and we want to push this item to the end of this array, whatever the array is. And then we want to return the whatever. So what this is doing is it's removing the first item of the array, or the first element of the array. And so what we want to do is return that element, whatever that number or string or whatever it is, we want to return that. And so that's what we're doing, is we're returning that element that's at the front of the array, or at the beginning of the array. And so when we run that, should be correct again. I hope everyone understands that. If not, leave a comment and we can talk about it. Also, next lesson we have understanding Boolean values. So another data type is a Boolean. Booleans may only be one of two values, true or false. They're basically little on-off switches where true is on, false is off. These two states are mutually exclusive. Boolean values are never written with quotes. The strings true and false are not Booleans and have no special meaning in JavaScript. Modify the welcome Booleans, modify the welcome to Booleans function so that it returns true instead of false when the run button is clicked. So it says modify the welcome to Booleans function so that it returns true instead of false when the run button is clicked. So we're going to just change it to true. Command Enter, and that's it. Next next lesson is use conditional logic with if statements. If statements are used to make decisions in code. The keyword if tells JavaScript to execute the code in the curly braces under certain conditions defined in the parentheses. These conditions are known as Boolean conditions. They may only be true or false. When the condition evaluates to true, the program executes the statements inside the curly braces. When the Boolean condition evaluates to false, the statement inside the curly braces will not execute. So if condition is true, statement is executed. Now let's look at we're going to look at an example. So function test will have a condition. If condition is true, then return it was true. And if it's not true, then return it was false. When test, so this is like pseudocode. Is not true code. It's like you're just talking it out. So what we're going to do is like actually write out something that you probably see within the program. So let's just go over it without talking through this. We'll go over it and we'll explain it step by step. So it says create an if statement inside the function to return yes, that was true. If the parameter was that true is true, and return no, that was false otherwise. So it says we want to create an if statement. So when it says if was that true, so if was that true, so what we're saying is if was that true is true. This is what this condition is saying. We want to know if this is true. So it's kind of a little bit confusing with the words that's being used, but it can be anything. So whatever condition that we had in here, if this condition is true, then we want it to execute. So we want it to return yes, that was true. And then if it wasn't, so now if it's not true, I don't think we got into else statements, so I won't do that, but we'll just return right here. We'll return no, that was false. So basically what we're doing is if was that true, if was that true is true, we're going to return yes. If was that true is not true, if it's false, then it will skip this and return this. So we're going to hit Command Enter to see if our logic is correct. Our logic is correct. We're going to move on to the next lesson. So next lesson is compare with the equal operator. So there are many comparison operators in JavaScript. All of these operators return a Boolean true or false value. The most basic operator is the equality operator, double equal. The equality operator compares two values and returns true if they're equivalent, or false if they're not. Note that equality is different from assignment, which assigns the value at the right of the operator to the variable in the left. So basically what they're saying is this double equals compares two values. So we're comparing something to something, and this one assigns a value to the variable. So let's look at this example. It says function equality test has a argument myval, and we want to know that if myval equals 10, we want to return equal, and if it's not 10, then return not equal. So in order for JavaScript to compare two different data types, for example numbers and strings, it must convert one type to another. This is known as type coercion. Once it does, however, it can compare terms as follows. So 1 equals 1, we know that's true. 1 equals false, we know that's false. 1 equals a string 1 equals true, because what happens is with type coercion is going to say, well, I can make this a type of number instead of string, because it's trying to compare it, and it's going to do type coercion, and what that is going to do is make this a 1. Just like this, it's a string 3. Type coercion is going to try and make these the same thing, whether it's a number or a string. So it says add the equality operator to indicate. So add the equality operator to the indicated line so that the function will return equal when val is equivalent to 12. So if val, we want to say if val equals 12, if val equals 12, return equal. If it's not 12, then return not equal. And so what we should get is if we pass this val 12, it will equal 12 and return equal. If we were to put in 10 in here, it should be not equal, right? So we're going to hit Command Enter, and there we go. We passed this lesson, and I hope everyone understands what is going on those lessons. If not, feel free to leave a comment. Also, if you're enjoying these video series, feel free to leave a like button, click the like button. Also, if you want to see something different, if you want something, if you want me to explain something or go over something in general, I'll keep it open for everyone, and so everyone can learn from it. So leave a comment if you have an idea about something that you want me to go over as well. But everybody, I'm going to be done with part 3 for now. I want to say thank you again, and I want you to continue to love your family, your friends, and make sure you continue to love yourself as well. Peace.